Right, in this first one of a few on constructions. First one is to make a construction of an angle of 60 degrees. We start off with a baseline, and it can be any length, but we're going to construct it at the starting point on where the zero is. We're going to construct a 60 degree there. It doesn't matter how long this line is, I just happen to move it 8 centimetres. From this point onwards, we're not going to use any measurements. The diagram, the exam questions for these say using the straight edge and compasses only. Straight edge is a ruler without any markings on it. So, the rules for using compasses are the point must go on a definite point on in space, either an end of a line or where two lines meet. It can't just sit there and draw whatever you feel like. That being said, just as a little example for constructing 60, you've probably constructed 60s lots of times before, possibly without knowing it, by doing one of these little flower patterns. If you start off with a circle and then put a point down and do an angle, cut across, and then go around from where the points meet, construct another angle, another arc. As you go around, you create a flower pattern. The flower pattern actually creates 60 degree angles, because what it's creating is a series of lines that are all the same length. So between that point and that point, it's the same as that point to that point, it's the same as that point to that point. That makes this an equilateral triangle. So to make my construction of 60 degrees, I'm going to put my point on the end of the line, following the rule. Points must be on the point of a set of compasses must go on a point that we know. I'm going to come down and measure, mark an arc. This now gives me another point that I will use in a minute. And I want to create an arc where I think the 60 degrees is going to go. So it's somewhere up here. I now have this point that I can use, so I bring the compasses across without changing them in this case. And by constructing that, putting that point where the point was constructed, I can now swing around, bring another arc down, and now I've got another equilateral triangle. Equilateral triangles, we know, have angles 360. I should use a ruler. The ruler gets in the way when I try to do this on the program. So I'm going to connect where I started through that point and keep going. Make sure it goes to the centre of this as close as possible, and set my protractor at the point. Angle to 0, and we scroll around, and on that blue line is miraculously at 60 degrees. So that is how you can construct a 60 degree angle using just a straight edge and compasses.